Hello, everyone, and welcome to Legend of the Stoned Owl. We like to call it LOTSO, and my name is Chris.
I'm Justin.
I'm Jeremy.
Yep, filling in for our normally visiting Aquatic Terminator normally would be Alan in that spot, but the third shadow in the show will be Jeremy. He's going to be doing that, trying to fill those huge,
gigantic
fish-killing shoes.
They're like flippers.
Yeah,
really.
they're like flippers with razors on them that kill fish.
Aquatic Terminator.
Yeah. So, we had originally planned to cover our top 5 party games in this episode, and we've decided to bump that to the next episode because we've got a pretty big Activision story we want to cover, and then also we've got a pretty big Deathspank and Crackdown 2.
Reviews for both of them.
Yeah, we've got pretty big reviews for both those ones, so we're going to go ahead and bump that to the next episode because those have got some real meat in them. And before we get to that, let's get into the LOTSO news. Yeah, boys, and that music means it is time for the LOTSO news. Now, LOTSO does it different than other shows out there. We don't try to claim that we're breaking the news like you haven't heard it somewhere else on 100 different feeds. No, that's not really our approach here. Our approach is more of a conversation and a discussion around events that really matter in the industry as a whole. And so with that in mind, our first story today is not one that has just been breaking all of a sudden. It's one that's been developing, and we've been monitoring it. And we've kind of elected not to talk about it till now, because now it's just recently taken some twists, some turns. And, of course, I'm talking about this Activision versus Infinity Ward, which, of course, are the guys behind a lot of the Call of Duty franchise games and are epically popular. We're talking millions of dollars here at stake. And you've got these two companies that came together to create this mass commercialized version of a video game. And now they've split their ways, and it's sounding like a lot of bad things are coming out about Activision. But honestly, as a consumer here, I don't think Infinity Ward is walking away from this without any...
Yeah, they don't have an untarnished record here.
Yeah.
Through all of this. A lot of the details that have come out are really painting them as kind of occasional crybabies and a little greedy at times as well.
Well, and they probably had a very different sort of free-spirited culture, and they came into this company that's this really rigid, by-the-book policy enforcing. You just hear about how awful it is at Activision.
Success ruins things.
Yeah, Bobby Kotick, they're, I forget, is he the president or CEO or something like that?
Yeah, he's the main man.
Shortly before this whole story broke, he came out and basically was quoted as saying, "We're trying to take the fun out of video games, out of creating them."
I checked out on that comment, though, and I heard this other interview that somebody actually had with him, and he said it was a context thing. It's supposed to be a little like tongue-in-cheek type of thing. Dude, they were talking about how he did not, he's a person too, so he didn't really like seeing all this stuff about him being slammed. That hurts him. He doesn't like it.
Well, he needs to stop saying things that make him sound like a dick then.
Yeah.
Well,
that'd be my advice.
Context.
No, the thing that I've taken away from a lot of this is what kind of insight you can get. And you can go over to the article, what kind of insight you can get on how these kind of things work, like these incentives and bonuses and carrots were stuck in front of these guys to ship on a certain date, and if they did, they get a certain $1 million bonus. And then when it was time to pay that out, they'd say, "Well, if you ship the next one by this date, then we'll finish paying you the bonus."
Yeah, that was one of the major sticking points that caused the main two guys were canned. They were let go for internal corporate politics bullshit. But the rest of the guys that left Infinity Ward were basically leaving. Because they weren't getting what they were promised.
And I don't need to have these big, huge graphical masterpieces either.
No,
I mean, if there's solid gameplay somewhere to be had,
right,
I'd totally go after that. I was just looking at buying Titan Quest.
Yeah,
because
that's a great game.
I typed in best hack and slash RPG.
Yeah,
and
everybody
told
actually
me.
Honestly, great game. Like, if you love Diablo 2, this is like an evolution of Diablo 2.
I know, but then all the reviewers took a dump on it, and I was just looking at it.
That's because they said they were copying Diablo 2, and you know what? I love Diablo 2. Copy the hell out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
They should say that about every single racing, basketball, baseball, and football game then, too.
Right.
Yeah, well.
And they should level out the field a little bit if they're going to start.
I think, this whole Infinity Ward versus Activision is kind of getting me into a place where I don't even really want to support Infinity Ward anymore.
I know.
I mean, when the stories started to come out, they were the good guys.
I know, right?
But then you start to hear more and more about their initial lawsuit against Activision. They were asking for $500 million in damages.
And then
plus,
they reevaluated.
Plus their back bonuses.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I mean that's just outright crazy.
Yeah, and the other thing too, about Infinity Ward is it sounds like there's a lot of things that they did kind of commit on that then they maybe didn't deliver on, and maybe that might have started Activision to go down this path of making these massive dick moves.
It's just a big political bullshit. I'm upset that not only Activision could play those games, but that a major developer would get themselves pulled into all that mess.
Yeah,
when they're really just there to make a game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they should just focus on that.
That'd be nice. It'd be good for a change.
Just like everything that starts making money, it becomes a business first, then games later.
Yeah, but then you go to okay. Well, let's change gears here. Talking about like the app stores and things like that. Let's talk about our next story. So BioWare was out, and they were making insinuations, and basically came out and said that they think that consoles actually aren't the future at all. In fact, that the consoles are the past, and that the future is things like handheld gaming, and that kind of stuff.
Before we go too far into this story, I want to rip on Kotaku for just a minute.
Okay.
Because I read the original article before I found this one that you linked from Kotaku.
Yeah.
And they basically blew it all out of proportion.
Yeah, they kind of made it
they really
sensationalized
it.
I hate it when they do that.
Big dicks. I mean, really, the story is not as
well. Here's what BioWare said, and this is the co-founder of BioWare, and here's what he said that kind of has people all worked up. He says, the future isn't necessarily on console. BioWare co-founder Greg sells Eurogamer. He goes on to say, that's the past. It's going to be a strong thing going forward, but the future is all on these new businesses that are starting up. And then they say, well, businesses like, he says, we want to expand because you look at what kids are playing on. Kids are playing on the iPhone and on the iPad. The 3DS looks pretty amazing. All these platforms options, well, we want to be touching on all of those.
See, that's just the business end of it, popping its nasty head in, because you don't hear Rockstar spewing this shit. And everything they do is gold. BioWare can't say the same.
Here's where they can come from, though, is they can companies like BioWare or companies like some dude in his garage can just go throw up an app for $9 in the store, and they don't have to print a physical copy. They just have to give a 30% cut to Apple, and then everything else is just money in their pocket.
I do have to point out, though, that BioWare came out with an iPhone app for the around the same time as Mass Effect 2. It was based on the Mass Effect 2 backstory.
I heard about that.
And it was total crap.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody universally just hated it.
And that's just totally hooking this incredibly huge following of Mass Effect people, because that game was gigantically popular.
It was a great game, though.
Yeah, exactly. It was perfect. There was nothing wrong with it. It wasn't my kind of game, but it was great.
Yeah.
And I know it was great. I just didn't jive with it, but they just throw that out there because they know that if you say Mass Effect...
what do you think, dude? You've been playing some of the touch games, right?
Every once in a while, yeah. I played Plants vs. Zombies.
Do you...
No, good choice there.
I just don't see... I don't know. I have not seen yet a serious game title on these platforms.
I've tried to get into them. My favorite game on the iPod Touch is a game where I mow lawns.
Okay.
And it's stupid and it's boring, but it's just kind of like a maze type of game. You just... whatever. I'm not going to explain it. It's bullshit, but... the best game I found so far is a lawn mowing game.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they can go and make these moves, and if they make money, good for them. But you know what? Somebody else will step up on their place delivering on these other platforms that can give a richer game experience.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, that they're just kind of time wasters. They're not really...
Yeah.
I mean, Mass Effect 2 almost transcended video games in some ways. It had such good acting and cinematics that... portions of the game really did play like a movie.
And I mean, I watch, we're on the video version here, we're playing clips of Mass Effect, the game we're talking about right now. Mm-hmm. And I look at these clips and it looks like a movie performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, I'm coming from a guy that can't sit down and watch a movie. So this game really did not do it for me.
That was the problem why I couldn't play it. It was just too slow for me.
Yeah.
And the targeting was ticky-tack. We're not talking about that, I guess.
No.
The game was an achievement, dude. It was big shit when it happened.
Yeah.
And it's just going to get bigger with their next sequel. But if they get away from making these big games, I think BioWare is going to go down the toilet.
They won't. They're going to keep going down each. They're going to go down each path, and whichever one makes them more money is what they'll stick to.
You think they'll just keep getting bigger and bigger? I mean, because it used to be that BioWare was a small company, one title at a time, and now they're putting out.
Well, what they'll do is they're
doing Mass
they'll
Effect
have
3
two
and the
branches.
Dragon Age 2 they just announced, and
Exactly, they're going to have two branches. They're going to have their console platform branch, and they're going to have their mobile apps branch, and they're both going to be what in their opinion they're going to be their diversification of sources of revenue. So if either one kind of dries up for a bit, one's still feeding them. So they're not going to pull out, but maybe they might pump more into the mobile space for a little while to try to get that kick-started. That'd be my concern.
As long as it doesn't detract from what's going on right now on consoles, then they can make as many horrible iPhone games as they want to. I could care less.
And that's the point that I wanted to make about this Kotaku article, is they make it sound like BioWare is like pulling out of consoles, and they flat out did not say that in the article, the original Eurogamer article. They said they're going to keep putting their titles on the consoles that everybody loves playing, but they're also going to try out these new technologies.
Yeah. That's what I suspect.
It's really what you were saying. They're going to branch out just enough to make a feel for whether or not it's going to pay off.
Yeah, and if they start getting nibbles, it'll start funding itself, and they'll just build that area of the business.
And it's not like you need a whole entire development team to work on some iPhone app.
No.
I mean, I could do it in my bedroom, right?
Theoretically,
that's what I'm told.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no.
All right.
The other, I just find this personally interested. They were talking about doing other MMOs, including what they were calling small world MMOs. Like browser games and just things that are very simple.
BioWare should stick to what they're known for.
I totally
like Dragon
agree.
Age. Check this out.
These epic adventure games. I mean, BioWare got started with things like Neverwinter Nights and Baldur's Gate, and this is what they're known for. This is what they should stick to. This is their butter.
Baldur's Gate's supposed to be pretty dope, right?
For its time, it was epic.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Before we go into the review segment, you wanted to give a shout out to a free game that's going to be coming up in Steam real quick, right, dude?
I was pointed out to this earlier. It's a Valve game that's I guess I heard it's going to be open source at some point, but it's free right now.
And it's
Adam Fusion from the chat room says open source to other developers so they can learn from it.
Okay.
Oh, it looks really cool.
It's a co-op space game of some kind?
It's like a top-down where you can see like all three of your teammates and yourself.
Nice. And it's free, right?
And you're just shooting aliens. I asked you earlier, Chris, if you had played Smash TV in the arcades.
I don't
back
think
when
I
did you
have.
play that at all, Justin?
What?
Smash TV? It was an old arcade game. This looks like a modernized version of that.
Okay.
But I'll put some visuals in the edited version.
Cool. All right, gentlemen. Well, let's move on to the review segment. That wicked music, actually made by our very own Justin here.
Well done. Well
means it's time for the LOTSO review. We're going to do two in your face. The first one we're going to give you is a little Crackdown. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys out there in the audience. Jeremy and I have not played Crackdown.
No, we didn't.
But
don't hate us.
We do have the ability here to defer to our expert in-house, Justin.
Yes.
So, sir, proceed to tell us what you thought of the Crackdown game.
It's kind of hard to. I'm torn on it because at the same time, it's like just like the old game, which is nice because I like the old game, but the bad part is they didn't change anything. There was not any. They even took some things out. In the first one, I loved it because as your driving skill went up and up, your cars would change to reflect your skill. Like
I heard they took out the transformed cars.
And oh man, I had so much fun jumping in cars and just watching them turn into.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was great, and they took that out.
I heard also that the gameplay was rather repetitive.
It wasn't the last one too,
but it was essentially you had two quest types, right?
Yeah, it was take out the freaks little layers
and get orbs, right?
Get orbs or take out the Cell, which is a terrorist group. That's
well, the orbs are just something you can do whenever you want. It's
orbs are just on top of buildings. You just free run and grab them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's races, car races. There's foot races. There's renegade orbs now too, which those were kind of cool.
Those run away from you, right?
Yeah, so you're driving in a car, then all of a sudden you see this purple orb shoot out, and you got to try to chase it down.
Yeah.
Hey, so I heard a lot of complaints online about the camera. Did you have any issues with the camera in this game?
No.
Any wonkiness with the graphics, like glitching on you at all?
No.
People complained about some stuttering in like the frame rate every now and then.
Yeah, that's what you get for listening to people online.
Well, I know. That's why I'm wondering.
The internet is full of people that don't know what they're talking about.
Co-op.
It's true.
Co-op was good. I liked it. It's just the same exact thing. It's nothing special.
Can you only advance one of their storyline at a time? Is that true?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So that's kind of weak.
Well,
I liked in Gears of War if you teamed up, you both were achieving in your own storyline as well.
Well, I think you get achievements and all that stuff. You progress with it, but your guy gets all leveled up and all that stuff, which is awesome. You just use the same guy because a lot of RPGs are like that.
Right.
Sacred 2 was like that. You can come into my story, or I could go into yours, but we were never in the same story.
Okay.
Fable 2 was like that as well.
Fable 2's co-op was booty.
It was terrible. I'm just saying it was similar.
But without it being exciting co-op is a good thing because that means they didn't try to change anything. Because I love the co-op where you can just throw your friend in there and he doesn't change anything.
Well, this game actually appeared on one of yours or both yours best co-op game
Probably,
lists.
yeah. We spent a good month playing that in Alan's garage.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I definitely see the advantage.
Well, let me ask you, one of the major criticisms that I heard online was basically everything that they took from Crackdown 1 and put in Crackdown 2 was great. But everything that they added to it in Crackdown 2 was terrible.
They added the freaks, and the freaks were all, look at, in the video right now, you're just driving through these streets littered with these guys.
Yeah.
And you're just crushing them, shooting them. They die really easily, but there's just so many of them, and it's fun.
Okay.
That's fun.
But it does get kind of repetitive.
Oh, yeah,
but not in a bad way.
Well, yeah, I mean, how repetitive is the same enemy for 9 levels rather than mixing it up between, humans and freaks? It kind of gives you some diversity, but the story's totally non-existent.
That's a good point. No, I had heard that, in the first Crackdown, which I didn't play, sadly, sounds like it was a great game, that you had several different gangs to go against, but in essence, they were all the same enemy, just with different colors on, right?
All you had to do was kill the boss and it was over.
So you're saying there was no story?
There's, very tiny, tiny story. There's no cutscenes. Once you start the game, there's a little bit of stuff.
Yeah.
And then when you end the game, there's a little bit of stuff, I'm sure. But it was...
So is this a buy in your opinion, or is this a rent?
I don't know, because I always get drawn in with these open worlds because I like the superpowers.
I know you do. I
like jumping around really high, driving.
So is this the kind of game that you can just jump into and play for 15 minutes just doing some stupid crap like jumping around from building to building?
Yeah, that's fun. It's really fun doing
Okay, I would
stuff.
I honestly sometimes this sounds bad, but sometimes when you had a rough night and you kind of wake up early and you just want to kill some time on the Xbox, this is that great kind of game.
I get where you're going, yeah.
I would buy it for that.
And you said
I kinda want it.
You said the co-op's still a lot of fun, right, Justin?
Yeah, it's totally, the drop in and play type of deal. You don't have to, if you can set it so friends can join, anybody can join.
Well, that's perfect, dude, because when I'm hungover and waking up, you're still up. So I'll just get up on Xbox Live and we'll do a little co-op. All right, so I'm going to pick it up then. You think? I think so. I'm going to pick it up.
Is it like a full game title? Is this like a $60 game or something?
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's why I didn't buy it at first, because it just didn't seem
recommend this
worth
game
it.
to everybody.
Is it maybe the kind you want to wait until it hits the bargain bin or something, or at least drops like $10?
Or
that's the thing about this game. It's kind of got that Warcraft appeal where they didn't make the graphics so great. They just honed in on the cartoonish thing they go with.
Yeah.
So you're not feeling, the gameplay's not going to be outdated.
Better question for you. I don't have Crackdown 1.
You can get it on...
That's where I should start, right?
You can get it on Games Demand right now. Download it straight to your hard drive and have it on there always.
Oh, no kidding?
Yeah, no day. It's only $20.
That's the route I should go, huh?
That. Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, if they didn't revolutionize the game or add significantly to it. Now, one of the things they did add to it is a 16-player arena mode, but I have heard that it's just like half-ass shoehorned in there.
The first version doesn't have co-op.
The first version totally has co-op.
Oh, it
it's
does?
just 2-player co-op.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
This has 4-player co-op, which I don't. Yeah. I prefer to play just with one person anyway.
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing that. Oh man, I'm getting version 1. All right. Well, nice. Now let's talk about, speaking of something you can download straight to your drive right now,
and it's co-op.
Deathspank. This is a game that just hit the Xbox marketplace the week that we're recording this, so by the time you hear this, it'll be last week, I believe, or something like that. I don't know. Time math is hard. But it's Deathspank, and it's from the people who made Maniac Mansion, and they also are the people behind Monkey Island.
Ron Gilbert.
And you can see a lot in the art style.
Mm-hmm. And the scripting, as we we played through some of it today, Chris and I, and the voiceovers aren't all that great, but the scripting of it.
Oh, I don't know. I actually thought they were pretty good.
It's that cheesy with the point. They
I
wanted to sound like that.
I thought they nailed it.
I thought it was hilarious. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think they knew what they were
I think
going
that
for.
the main hero's voiceover is epic, is great, but all the other.
I thought most of them that I heard were pretty good.
Deathspank!
Yeah, I don't know. I liked him. Actually, I was actually impressed that a downloadable title had fully voiced quest logs.
I like how they do the still pictures too.
Yes,
yes. It saves you from having to either watch the characters not move or move totally incorrectly.
I really think that's no small feat in a game like this. To have them fully voiced and acted and have them to actually be fairly good quality. I think that's a new bar for a downloadable game. I really do.
I don't want to downplay that, but I have to also point out that this has only got about 8 to 10 hours of gameplay total.
That's less than $2 an hour. It's pretty good.
See, I tend to aim for more around 50 cents an hour, honestly.
It's an arcade game too. You know?
What if
But it was a gigabyte big. It was huge.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It was the biggest arcade game I've ever downloaded, I think.
That's what she said.
I don't know, Jeremy. I think the value's pretty good. Plus, I think there's also fertile ground here for future content expansion that could be pretty cheap.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I think this is easy to expand upon.
The game's ranking pretty good over at Metacritic at this point right now. Now, it's kind of early in at this point while we're doing the show. But it's got a 79, which means it's generally a favorable review.
The Metacritic, it's cool. I like it because I can see
Wow,
reviews.
Joystick gave it a flat out 100.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're just taking it for what it was, a $15 awesome game.
Well, I think that's what I agree, and I think that's
maybe my expectations are a little high. It was only $15.
Yeah,
and it's great.
And
did you guys buy it or did you demo it?
Chris bought it. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it.
Nice, dude.
And
You
we
should
tried
actually
it out a
play
bit.
it.
Well, no, we did. We got.
No, I'm talking about finish it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and finish it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can handle that. That's a big time commitment.
it is. I know we got a lot of shows, but tell me, Justin, on your expectations here, did they meet, exceed, what?
They met them pretty good. I was
Not exceeded though.
because
Not for a downloadable $15 game. I think they blurred it. See, I think they did exceed it, and they exceeded it possibly so well that they might have pushed it into now you're comparing it to a regular game. Maybe.
I think
they
that
might have
actually
overhyped it too.
That
Okay.
actually might be my problem with it. Because the last.
I personally took to it. I really liked the style.
I love it.
I thought the graphics weren't okay. They weren't that great. I thought they could have been a little better.
Just like I said,
But I think they have a specific
The
stylized
art was good. Yeah.
art direction to them. I mean,
I don't know. That's
they're not
cool.
that great, but I think it's not that great on purpose.
What were you gonna say, Justin?
I'd sacrifice visuals for gameplay any day.
Yeah.
And I thought all the little funny stuff like stupid chicken and all the little jokes throughout the game, or like that axe you got that could shoot chickens.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny.
Yeah,
that
Just
actually
a lot of funny little stuff
flung
like
chickens at the enemies.
that. And I like that kind of extra little bit of entertainment when I'm playing a game. It's like an extra layer to that fun.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know if this game's on the PC?
At this time, I believe it is actually an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's on the network.
Oh, it is
No,
on
it is.
PSN?
It came out a day before. I had to contemplate buying it on the PlayStation or the Xbox.
Oh, are you sure?
Positive, 100% positive.
Well,
What pushed you one way or the other?
I like my Xbox better.
Oh, you know what? Aaron Koss has a good question. Is it better than Torchlight? Did either of you guys play Torchlight?
I play a
No.
little of Torchlight.
It was
I think
very similar
this
gameplay.
One of the things about Deathspank is Deathspank was very easy. I mean, it really held your hand. Like everything to where it could automatically equip the best inventory.
Yep.
It could automatically give you little really good hints for your quests. You could have these outhouses that would teleport you, and it was very fun. It would teleport you throughout. It was an automated RPG.
It basically took everything that was great about every action RPG like this before it, and then stripped out all the chaff. All the stuff that was either annoying.
It just did it for you because you know what? It gets that crap out of your way. And to be honest with you, it fits my gameplay perfect because you jump in there, you play it, you appreciate and understand what inventory items mean and their significance are, but you actually don't really want to spend your time deciding which ones to equip.
Right.
You want to spend your time going out and getting more stuff and playing.
Yeah.
And it's nice to just have that auto mode. And it works so well that at one point, Jeremy, I was watching him, and he walked over a better piece of armor, and it just auto-equipped it for him.
Right. Suddenly, I was covered in spikes.
And I thought
I think you can.
that's exactly
You
what
can
I
turn
would
that
like to
off
have
if you
happen.
if you
Yeah.
want. if you want to have more fine control over your equipment and everything, you can turn that feature off.
But I love that you have the option.
Yeah.
Because if I just want to chill out and play the game, it's perfect.
I have to honestly say it's not always perfect, that feature. I already, just from playing it a couple hours, I already noticed some times where it wouldn't put my best weapons on.
Yeah.
Things like that. So you can't totally rely on it, but you can probably get through the game.
And you were saying, too,
simply.
like, you might have an axe that has a fire enchantment on it, but if you're going up against somebody that needs an ice one, the auto-equipper isn't going to know that.
Right. If the fire one does more damage, it's not going to know that ice does 3 times damage to these enemies or whatever. And
I think another knock against this game is the multiplayer co-op is pretty weak. When I played that as the co-op character, I was essentially...
Sparkles the wizard.
I was essentially a controlled pet.
Yeah.
I didn't even bother with the co-op, dude. It sounds like garbage. I was hoping...
I got in there as Sparkles. I had a wand with unlimited, weak bullets. Mm-hmm. And then about every 10 seconds, I could do a group heal. Mm-hmm. And we had a shared life. I thought that was interesting.
Which also meant that when one of the first enemy groups that we encountered, Chris ended up almost getting me killed.
Yeah, because I never played.
I just walked out of combat and started spamming health potions to keep us alive while he was in the fray.
Yeah.
Getting his butt handed to him.
And then I had the ability to clone myself a few times, which had cooldowns. But none of them had a potion limit or something. I was able to just fire them off after they had cooled. It was easy. It's a casual. That is very casual. That's a, hey buddy, come on over to my place, have a couple of beers. We'll just sit back and
that's exactly what it is. But you know what?
My dad would love this game for that.
One of the favorite quotes that I had about the co-op mode is one of the reviewers called it girlfriend mode. Where it was basically like if you were sitting down to actually play the game and your girlfriend was doing something else, you could have her sit down and play Sparkles the Wizard.
She would be perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I think my wife Angela would enjoy playing Sparkles.
It's possible.
I think she would. So I maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good feature to have in a game. Maybe that's an actual thing to want the game to actually go for.
I would actually love if they continue to expand on this title, I would love for them to make the secondary character into a fully fleshed co-op character.
What would be, of course, a ton of fun would be able to do it over live.
I want a console version of, a whole entire, dedicated console game to it, a $65 hack and slash RPG.
Yeah, expand it out. It's good.
So you have control of the entire camera and everything.
Well, this was kind of Ron Gilbert's comeback.
It's got a good start. It's a really great start. They have the possibility of having a great franchise.
I think they're going to keep going with this.
I hope so.
I think if they don't, they're dumb.
I hope they do.
That's my official internet opinion.
That's a good internet opinion to have.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts from you, Justin, on the game?
Yeah, I think people should buy it for especially how much it costs.
$15.
Yep.
And one day, if you just keep your eyes open on the what do you call it, Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, they're always cutting deals.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure eventually make its way to Steam for the PC.
I think
heck, it could even make its way to the iPad, I suppose.
It could. I mean, the graphics aren't amazing. I don't think it would push the hardware too hard.
No, that's about on par.
And actually, you know what? A touch interface actually could be kind of fun on that game.
It might. No. I might check it out.
I hate playing games without a controller.
I know, but you know what? I was playing. Jeremy, what was that game I was playing? That Russian war game, Red Alert.
Oh yeah, Red Alert.
I was playing Command & Conquer on the iPad. And the touch actually is slick because you can...
Well, that's a completely different type of game. That was a real-time strategy, and this is a action RPG.
But it's the same kind of crap. Because when you were controlling the game, you would highlight the guy you wanted to attack with that little circly. Mm-hmm. You could just touch the guy, and it would highlight him with a little circly thing.
Yeah.
Then it takes the real time away from me. You're telling him to do it in real time. But
okay.
I like saying
that could be crap. Yeah, that'd probably be crap
with that forward because the way the button layout was set up. Each face button is a weapon.
Maybe even if Deathspank doesn't do that, I would actually like to see a proof of concept action RPG on the iPad.
Yeah.
I just like to see it, see how it turns out.
Because mine is junk. I don't like it now that we talk about it. But I do like Deathspank, so I give it a good thumbs up.
Me too.
I was gonna download the demo for free, but I had a good feeling. Something about the game just came right to me. So I actually bothered to log into the Xbox Live website, add my credit card, new credentials, so I could add points to my account again and get this full game. Because I said, you know what? No, this is what I'm going to want. And I'm glad I did. That's my review. I think you guys agree, right?
I agree.
Great game.
All right, there you have it, everybody.
Needs co-op.
Well, that wraps up this episode. Yeah, it does need better co-op, and that would really make it better.
Needs online co-op.
Yeah, via
booty
live.
rubber band effect stuff.
I agree. On live co-op, and I would even be willing to buy, a good, reasonably priced map.
A full retail box.
Oh, I'd be willing to grab a map updates down the road in the same
The
world.
map's
too.
pretty beefy though too.
Yeah,
It
they
is.
were. Yeah.
I was surprised.
No, I heard. No, we didn't actually make it this far, but I heard that the technology.
so wrapping us up. All right. Let's,
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. It's
I was
fine.
going to say that once you've explored the entire world, I've actually heard that there might be some tech slowdowns sometimes. Like that it's just too much information for your Xbox to handle all at
I
one
heard the
time.
PlayStation had more problems with it than the Xbox. Actually,
No kidding.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
All
That
right.
sounds like a bunch of hearsay to me, gentlemen.
It does. That's because
Legend of Stone Isle does not support hearsay, except for when it's interesting hearsay. Then we like to talk about it just a little bit, and then we go on, stop talking about it. All right. Well, I think that wraps up this episode, right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this might be the next time we do another show. Alan might just be back. We don't know exactly when. It kind of depends. He has a certain amount of fish he's required to murder, and then he can come home.
That's not true, but
It's not the amount of fish; it's how loud they scream.
They're just looking for the one that swallowed the golden egg, and then he can come home. Because then the princess won't have to destroy the world. It's a complicated story, but somebody has to save
That
us
sounds like
all.
an epic video game.
I know.
God, he's gonna be so happy with himself when he gets back and hears this shit.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I just picture now. I'd be sitting on the toilet with a big smile. All right, everybody. Well, Legend of the Stoned Owl comes out every 2 weeks and on Thursday over at JupiterBroadcasting.com. And you can always find the show notes for all the stuff we talk about. And if you'd like to give us any feedback, you can do that too over at JupiterColony.com. There's a thread in there just for Legend of the Stoned Owl. Okay. Well, with that, everyone, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks for listening to Legend of the Stoned Owl. Legend of the Stoned Owl is produced over at JupiterBroadcasting.com. That's where you can find the show, subscribe, all those good things, leave us feedback, and also where you'll find us every 2 weeks. Thanks for listening to this episode. We'll see you in a fortnight.